Hello YouTube. Well, today I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina, and across the street from me, if you were a child like I was, born in '53, grew up through the '50s and '60s, you probably shopped at a Woolworths. In this particular case, this Woolworths is a little more historic than all the other ones. On February 1st, 1960, four African-American freshmen from a local university decided that they would integrate the what was the whites-only lunch counter. This is now the International, it's the International Civil Rights Center and Museum, and it is on the, it's the original building, and as you may be able to see, the sign, "We cater to whites trades only." These are the four young men who started the sit-in movement. They came in to the store. One of them was in the ROTC, wore his uniform. Well, you can't really see because of the shadow. Anyway, they came in. At that time, the people to sit at the lunch counter would only allow white people. Anybody who was not a Caucasian, so African American, Asian American, Native American, would be able to stand at the end of the counter, order their food as takeout only, and leave. Well, these four young men let their professors know that they were coming here, so if they needed to be bailed out, they could be. They also, the professor notified the local press. So anyway, they went in, bought some things. So they were customers of the store. They weren't just walking in off the street. They had shopped here before and had receipts from other times, and sat down at the lunch counter. They were told to leave, that it was for whites only. They wouldn't get served. They calmly sat there, and the store was about to close. They were there for about an hour, and the manager called the police. A policeman came there and decided that there was no cause to arrest anybody, and so basically they hung out till the store closed. When they left, a newspaper photographer took their picture. The story went spread around the country, and they became very well known on their campus. Well, the next day they came back with more students, and they continued every day, and they started doing it in shifts. They were not getting served. One person would stand up and another one would sit down. They basically had to sit in, and that became a thing. Summer rolls around, college is off, people are headed home, whatever. The local high school students picked up where that left off. Like I said, this started February 1st. By July 25th, the manager of the store was calculating how much business he was losing, because a lot of white customers didn't come in. The black customers that came in were not getting served, so they weren't getting any money from them. And he decided to integrate the lunch counter. The way he did it was he had some of his black employees change back into their street clothes, sit down, they were served, and that was the end of it here. But in the process, it was picked up. I believe they tell me 75,000 protesters around, all through the South and up into the North would stage sit-ins to integrate the various lunch counters. Some of them you know more about down in Birmingham and a few other places, but this is where it started. February 1st, 1960. I had just turned 7 years old, so I was not aware of this. Within 3 years, I was starting to become aware of what was going on. I grew up through the civil rights movement, so very interesting. They do guided tours. I asked about it. They wouldn't let me photograph inside except for in a designated couple areas. They did give me permission to shoot the actual lunch counter, and so you get an idea of what that looks. It was, and it's what it looked like in 1960. So anyway, let's go on in and take a look. So this is the actual site of the first sit-in there on February 1st, 1960. These are the original stairs, and as you walk on them, you can feel, almost a century of wear pattern, and this would have led down into the lower level. The actual lunch counter was down that way. You could have come in through there and across, and we can take a look at that. Unfortunately, they don't allow much filming here. Down here, where there's an exhibit with a lot of information, about the freedom rides and the Memphis sanitation workers strike, and all kinds of other aspects of the civil rights movement in the 60s. They allow it. We've got a display of some more well-known African Americans that we all knew or know. So the four gentlemen who staged that first sit-in left some pretty big shoes to fill. All right, well, that's going to end my visit here, and to the Civil Rights Museum at the historic Woolworths, and I'm going to get back on the road and see what I can find. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you would like to help me out, I've set it up a Patron account. Think of it as a tip jar. If you, as little as $1 a month, help me out with admission fees or fuel to get around to the different places and what have you. The videos are still going to be free, so it's not required, but if you'd like to help me out, I would very much appreciate it. Thank you.